And welcome back to Late Night Lately. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the late night podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Hey, listen, I have a bunch of, this is episode 81, I have a bunch of jokes for you lined up. Let's get to them. Attorney General Pete Hegseth attended a cabinet meeting this week where his nameplate had the unfortunate misspelling of his title as SS Secretary of War, which for anybody else would be embarrassing, but for a proud Nazi boy like old Petey, he's ready to kick back, let loose those ancestral tattoos on the Caribbean, and barbecue some brownies. Liberal advocacy group Demand Justice is set to air television ads against Democratic Senators Angus King, John Fetterman, and Maggie Hassan, who voted to confirm President Donald Trump's latest judicial nominees. Too bad the only network willing to buy the slots is Fox News. On Tuesday, the San Francisco Attorney General filed a lawsuit against food manufacturers over their ultra-processed food in the city's latest attempt to prove just how smug it can be. This week, music streaming service Spotify releases popular social-driven Wrapped, where users can see their top artists alongside a new feature that predicts the listener's age based on the type of music they listen to. And if Morgan Wallen is in your top 5, then racist is in fact an age. And finally, in Virginia, a raccoon broke into a liquor store, drank bottom shelf alcohol, and ultimately passed out in the bathroom after going on a drunken rampage around the store. And the only thing I took away from that story is, based on my history, a raccoon is a pretty expensive date. And that's all the jokes I have for you today. Let's move on. Welcome back. Here we are in the throes of Friday morning, 10:55. I have to do this now because... quite frankly, I'm going to go see Wicked in about an hour. And then I also have to record the Constitutionals. And a crap ton of news came in about Netflix and HBO, Warner Brothers, excuse me. So I was like, all right, I have to do both podcasts before I go see this movie. All right. Okay. Sorry, I'm looking at an email that is in regards to Warner and Netflix. Anyway, welcome back. Here we are this week in late night. It was a pretty packed week. We had, I would say, a week coming off of the Thanksgiving holiday. It's pretty busy. Pretty busy. I'll say that. And there was a good grab bag of guests alongside a lot of recurring bits in late night. For Fallon, he brought back the Christmas sweater stuff. They also had a lot of people coming on the show, like Sydney Sweeney, Tom Pelfrey. Why does that guy look familiar? Amanda Seyfried, Reba McEntire, Con Knupple. Monsters and Men performed. They also had Noah Schnapp, Gwen Stefani, Amanda Gorman, Walton Goggins, Natalia Dyer, Fran Lebowitz for some reason, and Oz Perlman. And Melissa McCarthy came in to do something on a Tonight Show during the monologue. She just popped in. I believe it was during last night's episode, and it's nice to see her. She's going to do SNL this week. She's hosting SNL this week. That's always a treat. So we'll see how that plays out. The end. If you hear rumbling, there's somebody's moving out, and they have movers pushing carts down our concrete hallways, and it's echoing apparently. On Kimmel, because Seth was not working this week, he worked on Thanksgiving. They had Paul Anka, which is such a grab, and I'm not even sure that the audience that watches Jimmy Kimmel Live would know who Paul Anka is. Obviously the older ones are, but Paul Anka is a fabulous singer, and in fact, he sat down and even did My Way. Performed My Way, and that was fantastic. But he also was a guest. And there's Zoe Saldana, so that's a packed episode. Then Gillian Anderson, who was apparently in a movie. I did not know. I was like, what is Gillian Anderson promoting? And I also heard her weeks ago on the Off Menu podcast. So I guess this is the movie is what she was promoting. And let me tell you, I still don't even know the movie. Kevin Nealon was there as well. Sylvana Estrada performed. Drewski, John Cena, and Miley Cyrus, as well as Cameron Crowe, were there as well. And then the Wainwrights performed. So that's nice. Again, the music booker for Kimmel is right up my alley. They're doing fantastic work. On The Late Show, I would say that it was a pretty not businessy, political week for Colbert. You had Mike Sherrill, Governor-elect Mike Sherrill from New Jersey, I believe. Daniel Craig did the big questions, and Lady Gaga did the Colbert questionnaire, which is, it's fascinating to me how he can have an episode of a show that is so packed, and they have these prepared things that they've already done, and then just put them out later. And by that I mean the big questions, the recurring bits, the big questions of the Colbert questionnaire. Again, I understand the big question. I don't understand the questionnaire. I feel like that's just like a quick thing that they do, and they say, hey, we can just, if we have Michelle Obama on the show, then we put this out in 3 weeks. I don't understand how that works, but it's good for them. Then he also had Rachel Maddow is what I was going to say. And the Drive-By Truckers with Jason Isbell performed. I love Jason Isbell. So it's good to see him perform with that band. Michael Shannon was there, also a musical guy, because he goes on tour, I believe, playing for, who does Michael Shannon play for? Who does Michael Shannon play for band? Michael Shannon plays REM tribute band. There you go. Let's see. Jeff Bridges also did the questionnaire. Again, amazing. Then Jesse Buckley was there. Weird Al and Jen Psaki were also there. And so that was that's why I said it was a very political week. Speaking of politics, we have The Daily Show. I think, as we come up to the end of the year, I think the show's going to go off for like 2 or 3 weeks, for at least 3 weeks. I feel like it, because now they are compressing in all of the guests, the correspondents hosting. After Jon Stewart hosted this week, he spoke to, I lost my place, Elizabeth Colbert, who is, I guess, a writer or climate person, I don't know. Desi Lydic hosted Wednesday. Josh Johnson hosted Thursday. Nope. Desi Lydic hosted Tuesday. Josh Johnson hosted Wednesday. And Jordan Klepper hosted on Thursday. And they each had some bits and interviews. For Desi Lydic's episode, she spoke to Nikki DeLoach. And Michael Costa did a Christmas money economy breakdown. Josh Johnson spoke to Asai Wynn, and I think that's what he did. And then Jordan Klepper had a Ronny Chieng. Oh no, excuse me. Ronny Chieng's AI thing was on Josh Johnson's, and Jordan Klepper spoke to Ken Casey, and then he had a Christmas Trump themed thing. So there you go. All right. And finally, because it's got to be a short episode, or something a little bit more compressed. David Letterman's My Next Guest premiered, had a special episode and came back, and now they're coming back with another season with a slew of guests, including it's very male driven this time around. But the new guests will be, how did I lose this list? The new guests will be Mr. Beast, Michael B. Jordan, and Jason Bateman. So, but he also had a one-off special with Adam Sandler. I don't know. And the reason why this is going to be a topic, because the last time this show was back was they did 3 episodes in 2024 and 1 in early 2025. But one was a special. The John Mulaney one was a special in April 2024. And then June 12th saw 2 more episodes with Miley Cyrus and Charles Barkley, and those are the two of the 3 episodes in 2025. In season 5, and then the final episode in season 5 is Caitlin Clark episode that dropped in April of 2025. Now for these specials, I don't know how they're chosen. I assume Letterman's with it. I assume he sees or has admired somebody for so long, like Kanye West and Ellen DeGeneres back in season 2, apparently. I've never seen these. The only ones I've seen are, oh God, I saw the Obama one, and I've seen the Mulaney one. I have not seen any of these other ones. A lot of these people, what a crazy. Oh, I remember the Volodymyr Zelensky one. Yeah, what a crazy selection of people. I assume he just does these at his whim, and maybe he and his producers go to Netflix and say, "Hey, we have here's who we'd want to talk to," and Netflix is like, "Yeah, we'll keep it open." And then I also assume that they only choose so many people because looking at the season selection, it's the most episodes they've had in one season was in season 1. That was 6 people. Then they had a bonus episode, and that was 7, but that wasn't even part of season 1. Yeah, I don't know how they would count these. In fact, I don't even know how it looks on Netflix. But anyway, these are it's fascinating to see David Letterman come back and sit down in front of a camera and chat. Obviously, you can go to his YouTube channel and see him and his cohorts discuss happenings around there, alongside continued posting of old clips that his company owns from his previous 3 shows, 2 or 3 shows: the morning show, late show, morning show, late show, and I guess, I don't know, other ones. Anyway, but the one thing about these episodes, this show, is that, it's he's talking to people who have, and I know I jokingly pulled out the Kanye West Ellen DeGeneres episode, but he talks to people who have these big careers and who presumably, even with Kanye West and Ellen DeGeneres, will have continued careers. And whether they're celebrities like Clooney, or they're activists like Malala Yousafzai, or they're political people like Barack Obama, or they're other people like Melinda Gates, philanthropist, I guess we would call her. It's cool to see the diversity in the people that he chooses. However, I do wonder, is there an emphasis on these being evergreen conversations? I wonder what he and Robert Downey Jr. talk about in this. In the description, it says, at the home of Robert Downey Jr. in Malibu, checking Robert's mini zoo. He has a zoo, I guess. I don't know. But the only reason I bring that up is because when you have somebody like Lizzo, like, does he know Lizzo? Oh, yeah, obviously he probably listens to Lizzo. No one just suggests that to him. Does he talk to Cardi B? I love that Cardi B. They split a chopped cheese in the Bronx bodega and chat hooky parties, hip-hop, parenting, political science, and protesting injustice. And that's not to say that Cardi B and Lizzo have nothing important to say about anything. That's not to say that Billie Eilish and Phineas O'Connell have nothing important to say, but is this... I wonder what Dave gets out of this, because I've only seen 3 of these episodes. I wonder when I ended when the John Mulaney one finished, I guess the question is, what do I want out of it? But I only remember, feeling that, all right, well, it was done and there's nothing to come out of it. What did I want to get from that? What does the audience want from this? Is this just to spend a little bit more time with Ryan Reynolds and Will Smith and Kevin Durant and Julia Louis-Dreyfus? Is that or my thoughts are, because I watched the Barack Obama and the Volodymyr Zelensky one, those two, did I expect to get the same stuff out of the Mulaney one, and presumably the other ones that I have not seen? But maybe I'll turn them on. But I don't know. These are from almost, 8 or 9 years ago at this point. But is this something that I want to, learn from? I don't know. My next guest returns. When does that come back? When is David Letterman? When is a new season? New season. Again, I December 16th. What? I guess we'll find out when they come back. But it's nice because, for something like this, it's bigger than a typical late night interview, but I do feel like it's on the same level. Like, even though, let's say the Zoe Saldana, it's a clip I linked to in the show notes. That's a 12-minute clip, 12 or 15-minute clip. And, I got as much of Zoe Saldana as I want, besides, going to the special features of a movie that I own, of movies that I own that star her, like the Avatar series. That sounded like so dirty. Or following her on social media. Because I feel like I could learn as much in these interviews as I do from them popping up in other places. Anyway, that's it. All right, listen. If you like what you heard here, head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where you can now see the full archives of every interview I've ever had, with the exception of maybe 4. I believe it's 4 that are missing. They might be on a different hard drive, i.e. my old laptop. We'll find out. We'll see at some point in the future. So go ahead and check that out, cpluscomedy.com. Video versions of this show, the whole archive of this show, as well as the other podcasts, LinkedIn Logs, the Jobs Podcast, and the Constitutionals, the Entertainment Business News Podcast. If you want to see video versions of those shows, go to youtube.com/cpluscomedy. You can see a video version of those shows, of this show, as well as the interviews, which is the video interviews that I do, which are the video interviews that I do. Subscribe to all those shows wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on social media, Blue Sky, TikTok, and Instagram @cpluscomedy. Me @ChadBlackWhite. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Bye.